Hello friends and welcome to our channel, and today we are going to learn on Microsoft Word. We are going to do some practices. So once I open my new document, I'm going to click on file, then I will save it on the desktop, this personal computer, which destination. I'll search for destination here. I'll click once, specify desktop, and then write there as a word practice 31st March 2025. So this is what we are going to work on. So today on 31st March, happy holidays. We are also going to learn a few good things. So this work, we have the top section called the header. I'm going to activate the header, then I type the task we are going to perform today. So I'll click on insert, I'll click header, and then I select the first option. Using this, I'm going to click home and align this paragraph at the center of my page. So today we are going to work with the tables, shapes, icons, smart art, and charts. So this is what we are going to work on. I'll select the entire of this typing, click bold, change a color, maybe this color, and then close this header. I'll close the header, and that is what we are going to be working on. So the first thing, I need to insert a chart. I need to insert a table, sorry. So I'll click insert, I'll click this arrow down here under table, then I'll choose the option for insert table. So in this table, I'm going to put 5 columns and 7 rows. Remember, columns run up and down vertically, but rows run right to left, left to right horizontally. So I'm going to add 5 columns and 7 rows. 7 rows. Then I'll say okay. So this is what we have. So in this working, if I select this entire table by clicking on this small box here, I can be able to format my table. I can be able to increase the size of the row, the height of the row. I can be able to increase the height of my column. I can be able to reduce. I can also be able to reduce. This is our table. If I click here in table design, I can be able to give a color to our table. Maybe our table is such a color. That is under, when you select the entire table, you'll find under table design, you'll find the color shading. But if you want a specific position, maybe the first row, if I select it, I can be able to change the color for that into a different one. So once we've learned that, I'll click on the first section, then I'll type number. After that, I'll go to the next and say product. This is a product name. I'll go to the next one and say maybe quantity. Then I have the unit price, after which we have the total price. Total price. So these are products in the market that we want to identify through pricing list, after which we are now going to create a chart for that presentation. So the first thing I need to do now is to select the entire first column by holding in the second row and then moving downwards to select. I'll click home and give it automatic numbering. So I'll click here and say maybe I want this automatic numbering. So we've seen now it is numbered from 1 all the way. What about products? The products in the market, we have the rice, we have beans, we also have maize, we have honey, we have charcoal, we also have spices. So the quantity we need now is to 2 kilogram. We also need beans, maybe 1 kilogram. We need maize, maybe 5 kilogram. We need honey, maybe 2 liters. We need charcoal. Charcoal we can go for 3 kilograms of charcoal. And spices we can go for 1 kilogram for the spices. Maybe you want to prepare pilau for today's occasion, today's holiday for the Muslims. So what are the unit price for rice? You can go for 200 per unit per kg. Unit price for beans can go for 150. Maize can go for 120 per kilogram. Honey per liter, 1,000 shillings. Then we have charcoal per kg, let's say 150 shillings per kg. We have spices, maybe you can say around 300 shillings. So the total price is the product of unit price and quantity. So we have 400. We also have 150. We have 600. We have 2,000. We also have 450. We also have 300. So what's the total price down here? If you calculate this, you'll be able to get total here, but there's no need. So this is what we have as our price list for a certain market here in Karen. What if I want to format this text inside our cell, our table? I'll just click on this small box, then I'll go to table layout. Then we have different positionings for our text. For now, I'll go for this center alignment. So now everything in my table is aligned at the center, vertically and horizontally. Then I can click under home and make it bold. Which font? I'll click here and specify I need Times New Romans. Times New Romans, font 12, and then I'll click here. So I'll select once again, it's not yet activated, Times New Romans, then I click enter. Times New Romans, let me undo that. It is Times New Romans. Times New Romans. So this is our font style for our work. Now using these details, I need to insert a table, a chart that can help us graphically be able to visualize this data. So what I'll do, I'll select the product name. I'll start from product name. I'll move all the way to total price. Then I'll go down up to there. After which I'll right click. Once I've selected this, I don't need to right click. I'll just go to insert and then I'll find a chart here. Which type of chart can I use? I can go for this, the first one, the first chart. We have 2-dimensional and we have 3-dimensional. So I can go for 3-dimensional and then I'll say okay. So we are going to see a chart. It is loading. We are going to see a chart that we can edit further, and graphically we'll be able to see the details we've created. So what I need to do now is to select some parts of this. So I'll click first on this chart and then I'll make it to be above the text so that it doesn't alter the position of the table that we had initially installed. So I'll click on this align on top in front of text. I'll select that, and then I'll select fix on position. This is going to help me easily move this chart downwards. If I don't do that, the chart is fixed and cannot be moved. So in this chart that we have installed, if I maximize a little bit, we can be able to see down here we have category 1, category 2, category 3, and category 4. So all this information that is on this horizontal axis represents different products. So category 1 is one product, category 2 is one product, category 3 is another product, and lastly category 4 is also another product. But if we look at our chart, what do we need to see visually presented? We don't need to see quantities. We don't need to see the unit price. We only want to see the price, product, this product, and total price. We want to know how much do you spend on rice on that day? How much do you spend on maize on that day? So these two columns are the one that we need to see them presented here. But at least we have seen that categories represents what? They represent these products. So what I'll do, I'll select the from rice downward to spices. I'll right click and then I'll say copy. Once I do that, I'll come to this category. Then in this category, I'll select also downwards like that. Right click and then I'll say paste. So I've pasted this information of products in this Excel sheet, spreadsheet that is used to help us design our chart. So look at this information: rice, beans, maize, honey, charcoal, and spices. This information I've pasted here that I copied from the table we created on Word as actually reflected in our chart. So the next thing that remains, we don't need these three columns. These three columns are series, and this series we have are series 1, series 2, series 3. If we look at our table, the series that we have are series 1, series 2, series 3, series 4, series 5. So these are the information represents the series. Quantity can be series 1. So whatever quantity is for rice, we will put it also against rice. So if series 1 can be quantity. So here you can see product is rice, but the quantity for rice is 2 kg. If you go to this spreadsheet, these are the product rice. What is the quantity? 2 kg. So series 1 will become quantity, but we don't need quantity and unit price. We only need the total price. So here in series 1, because we just need total price, what I'll do, I'll type there total price. We don't need these other series. So I'll select these other series and then I will delete them so that we only remain with total price and the product. These are product, these are total price. So I'm going to copy also the total price starting from rice to spices, the same way I did for the product from rice to spices. I'll copy these values, then I'll go to my Excel, I'll select it this way, and then I'll right click and paste. So now you can see we have just two details, that is the product name and the total price. What about our chart? We also have the same. We have the product names, and let me close this Excel. We have the product's name, rice, beans, maize. We also have this one as total prices. From this chart we can see it is honey that has the highest honey. So if we go back, you can see this color blue is total price. So these are total prices. We don't have this and that. So if you can see, honey is the highest. It's between 1800 to 2000. If I go to our table, is it correct? We can see here honey has 2000, meaning this chart is now correct. So what we just need to do is to click on this title and give it a title, a better title, that is chart representing price lists. Yeah, so that is the title for our chart. It is a chart representing price list. Now if I want to format this chart further into different designs, I'll just click to activate it. Then I'll go up here to format or chart design. I'll be able to get different types of designs for our chart. Colors, we have different colors. You can pick any type of color that fits you perfectly well. So here we have different types of our charts. Now this can make our chart look better. So it's a chart representing price list. So that is the first lesson that was touching on tables. What if you had forgotten a product here? What do? If you had forgotten a product between 4 and 5, you can click either in 4 or in 5 and then you insert a row. So I'll click on 4. If I want to insert a row between 4 and 5, it means I'm going to insert below because I'm already at 4. So if I click at 4, I'll go to table layout. Here in table layout, I'll go to insert column, insert row, row. So where do I insert? Is it below or is it above 4? Because we said we want it to be between 4 and 5, I'm going to insert below. Automatically it will adopt number 5. So here you can add another product, maybe avocados. Avocados, maybe we need 12 avocados. Avocado goes for 30 shillings. So that is 120 times 3 gives you 620. So we have added one element, one item in our table. But what about this chart? Do we have avocado? No, we don't. So what we need to do is to modify this chart. So in order to modify this chart so that it can adopt the change, is to right click on the chart. The moment you right click on the chart, you can now edit data. I right clicked and I said edit data. So I'll bring this Excel sheet up, maximize it a little bit like this, and then we can say between maize and honey there was a section for avocado. It was between 4 and 5. So I'll click here in number 5 and then I will right click. Once I right click, I'll say insert. It is going to insert a new row between 4 and 5. Remember, when you are inserting a row, it inserts above where you right click. If you want to insert a column between B and C, I'll stand at C and then I right click and it will insert backwards but in front of B. But for rows, if I want to insert between 4 and 5, I will be at 5. Then I will right click, it will put it between 4 and it will adopt new number 5. So here I'll say avocado. So avocados, we said 300. We need 300 avocados. So once we do that, we'll just click here. That information has been adopted. As you can see, it's here. So what we need to do is to see it adopted. So now I can close. So here you can see between maize and honey, the same way in our table between, it was maize and charcoal, maize and charcoal, maize and charcoal, we had avocado. So I need to edit and put this avocado between maize and between honey and charcoal. I need to put between honey and charcoal, I put avocado. Between honey and charcoal, I'll put avocado. So I'll edit this, edit data. I'll right click here, edit data. Then I'll go and see where we have honey and charcoal, honey and charcoal. So between this row number 6 and row number 7, I need to put avocado in between. So what I'll do, I'll select this row number 5, right click and cut. I want to remove it there, but I want to paste it between 6 and 7. That is honey and charcoal. So I'll be at 7. I will right click and insert the cut cell. So it has come between honey and charcoal. Once I do that, I'll click here just once and close. So you can see it has moved from between maize and honey. Now it is in its good position, that is honey and charcoal. So between honey and charcoal, we have avocado. So that is how you can work with charts and tables. I hope this information is going to be helpful to you and you're going to practice. So what about the next lesson? I'll just click down here. If I click up here and then I insert a page, it is going to insert above, but I want to insert below. So I'll click below here and then I'll go to insert blank page. So now we have page 2 below this page 1 that we had worked on. Let me go to insert and insert page numbers. I have page numbers under insert. I have page numbers at the bottom of the page, but on the right side. Bottom of the page, where? Right side. So the right side we have page numbers, page 2. We also have page 1. After that I close. So here in page 2, I want to work with shapes. Maybe you are working and then you are told to insert some shapes. We have different types of shapes. If you go to insert, then you click on shapes, you'll be able to see different types of shapes that we work on. For instance, you're told maybe somebody is speaking and you need to insert a shape that can be used to type the speech. So if I click on this call out, then I'll come and hold my mouse this way. I'll be able to design this shape, which I can now move to any position. After that, this shape I can change its color. If I click to activate it, I have shape format. Under shape format, we have shape fill. Shape fill can help me change the color for my shape. But remember, I've changed the color inside. What about this outline color? If I want to make this outline color to look the same as this, I'll click here under shape format. We have shape outline. Under shape outline, I'll be able now to find that outline. So now our shape has outline. What if we want to write a speech? Maybe there's somebody who's trying to say something. Let me put a picture of a human being. I'll go to insert, then I'll go to icons. Icons, I can be able to find cartoon images of people and objects and activities. So let me search for an icon representing a human being. So it's loading. Here we have different types of icons. We have icons, cut out people, illustrations, cartoon people, There are different types of icons. If you need educational icons, you'll be able to also find them here. So these are different types of icon. Let me go for cutout people. These are cutout people. This means they are graphical three-dimensional pictures. So let me find one here. Yeah, let me go with this, and then I say insert. So I'm going to insert an icon here, and then this will be words spoken by that icon picture. So this is our icon. Let me minimize so that you can be able to see. So this is our icon, and then in this icon I can make it smaller a little bit. I'll select here to put it in front so that I can be able to move. So I'll activate this last option here and this option, this and this, so that these can be able to be moved around. Also this, I'm going to activate this option and this option so that it can also be easily be moved. So that is our icon and our shape. So maybe this person is talking about working with tables, shapes, icons, smart art, and charts. So I need to put a text box here so that I type what he's saying. So I'll click insert, then I'll go to text box. I'll pick the first text box. So here is a text box. I don't need to panic, I just need to type in. So he's simply saying working with shapes, icons, smart art, and charts is the easiest assignment in MS Word. I need to make all these small case. So I'll select it all. Small case is small handwriting. Then I'll click home, and then I have here the change case. I'll click this arrow and say lowercase. I'll make it bold, and then I can now resize it smaller that way, and then I move it to the center of that shape, after which I'll click on shape format because it's still active. Then I'll go to shape styles. I don't want to see this boundary, this box, so I'll click here shape style. I'll pick preset 1, preset 1. Preset 1. So preset 1, under this shape style, this arrow, shape style, this arrow, preset 1. Preset 1 allows this boundary to be transparent. So if I click here, you can see now it is transparent. So that is how you work with different shapes, icons, text box. What if I want to change the text color? So I'll select the entire text, give it a different color under these fonts. I'll pick a font that is maybe color white. After which I'll select this shape, the shape. I'll go to shape format and give it a darker color so that the text is visible. I'll give it a darker color, maybe that one. So as now you can be able to see, it is now much visible. Okay. If I right click on this red spelling error, I'll be able to see a better alternative, that one. Now my work is ready. Now let me go to page 3. I'll double click down here, then I'll say insert, blank page. Now I am at page number 3. I am at page number 3. In page number 3, I want to work with what I call the smart art. Remember, we've worked with tables, shapes, icons, charts, and now we are at smart art. Assuming you are to describe a process, steps, leadership positions in a company, or processes, what can you do? Instead of using shapes, for instance, if I go to shapes, I pick maybe this rectangle with soft edges, round corners. Then I hold here, I design this way, I move it to this position. Okay, I right click, I copy that, copy. Then I right click, I paste, I move it down here. I right click, I paste, I move down here. I right click, I paste, I also move this to this side. If I decide to use this option whereby I want to describe processes, maybe this is the company CEO, let me insert a text box. This is a CEO of a company. Let me copy this, copy, then I insert, I paste. I've copied and paste. Then I say this is maybe HR, the human resource. Again I paste the same I had copied. This is maybe accountant. Let me make it bigger. So this is a company accountant. And then here we have maybe let's say site manager. This is a small electrical company that is starting up, and they are designing some management communication channels. They don't want people to conflict in the workplace. They want decisions to go in a systematic manner. So using Microsoft Word, maybe you are designing this, after which you can now insert arrows that can describe the steps. Insert another arrow. You can see how it takes a long time to design this. If I click this one and then I use this to rotate, I can be able to rotate. I can copy this, right click, copy, and I can paste it also. I bring it this side and then I will rotate it this way. For you to rotate, you use this upper, you hold this and then you can move this section here. You can see this arrow, you hold it. Once you hold it, you can be able to rotate. You can see this takes a long time and it is very, very time consuming and tiresome. What's the best way to insert all this as one? The best way is to use this insert smart art. So the smart art is the best. It is graphically, visually communicating. So what I'll do, I'll delete all this. and then I will insert a smart art. So I've deleted all, so I'll go to insert smart art. Remember, the hierarchy I wanted is not listing, it is not process, it is not cycle, but it is hierarchy of management or relationship or pyramid from top to bottom. So let me go for hierarchy. Which type of hierarchy? There are different types. I can go for maybe this one, and then I'll say okay. So here we have a better presentation. So I'll click here, and then I can be able to type my text as CEO. So after CEO, you have maybe the manager or the director. The director. After the director, we have now these are the officers, that is the HR, human resource. We have the site manager, we also have the maybe foreman. So this is a better presentation. This is a better presentation. Let me minimize so that you can be able to see it. This represents better our work. So if I want to make changes, maybe colors, or I want to eliminate this, I'll just click on it and I can delete. I'll be able to have only this. If I need to add, I can right click and then I can copy and then add. Copy and paste. I'll be able to add. I can also format. Smart art design, we have different layouts here, different layouts. We also have colors. We have different colors that you can go for. As you can see, it's much easier. We also have different designs. You can also format and get different shape fields for each specific design shape field. You can change colors for each specific. So that is how you use smart art. So you have different types of smart art. So this one saves time and it is almost perfect. It's the best to go for. So now I need to make this work look beautiful. So what I'll need to do, and this is going to be an assignment. So I'm going to type down here. Let me type here at the front. I'll push this down. Assignment. So create a similar job and share to your teacher. That is an assignment for you. Create a similar work as this and also share so that you can see how good you've garnered the skills. So maybe lastly, to make our document look much better, I'll go to insert, design. I'll go to design. Maybe I'll go for a page color, put a better page color, a bit gray. Watermark, I put a confidential watermark. Then page border, I'll click on page border. I can go for a border that is very simple. Color, can give it a color that is not shouting. Then I'll say okay. So we have our work that has also page border, page colors. Let me pick a better page color that is more encouraging, like that one. So I've saved my work. Let me also save it. I've already saved that Word. So I can also save it once again in the same destination, but now as a PDF that I can be able to share to all of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for cooperating, and I look forward to sharing with you more. Watch out for another video, probably tomorrow, and may God bless you all. See you then.